Alright, so I'm making this kind of as a thank you to HealthyGamerGG. I recently came across one of his videos about Puer Aeternus. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but regardless, I still want to make this. And I was watching it, and I kid you guys not, I watched this guy for 4.5 hours. I watched his part one for 2 hours because I felt like I was following along for every part of this idea. And then I watched his part two, which was like a reiteration of everything in part one, but he answers some questions like an hour in. And it took me until that 4 hour mark where someone asked a single comment where so much stuff just like clicked in my brain. And basically, I'm going to kind of talk about this idea just a little bit. He articulates a lot better. I would genuinely just go watch his video. This is just kind of a response and maybe a little bit of a thank you, and something I feel like we kind of do a lot as a society, and especially on YouTube. Jeez. But so the whole idea of Puer Aeternus is kind of the fact that we're always, that means like child eternity or something. So you're always like childlike. It's kind of like because of our drama or our trauma or whatever has happened, that we kind of manifest this dream or failure mindset when we're like basically so full of potential. And I don't want to get too off topic. Maybe I should kind of change my direction a little bit here before this becomes too much word salad. But something that helps a lot is the idea of we have so much potential, but to actually get the most out of it, we have to sacrifice and reduce our potential so we can then go on and try our best with whatever we want to pursue. And that means giving up other things that we want to pursue. But in the same time, he talks about work being the cure, but it doesn't fix anything. And I think it's this idea that we have. We can always be seeking out the best answer for things. Like, he talks a lot about how this is the answer, but it doesn't fix anything. And a lot of stuff happens on a much more deeper level. And it wasn't until the end of his video where this comment asked, he was like, well, what is the ultimate answer for this thing? And then all of a sudden it just clicked. Like, everything made sense to my brain. And like, the answer is that there is no answer. You have to put in the work, right? So, like, it doesn't really matter what I say. In the same way, it might not matter what he says because it happens on a deeper level. It's more pattern related. But if I can, he uses an analogy about your stomach always hurting, and it's not the stomach's fault. It's what we decide to put in it. That's the problem. And it's the same thing with whatever we, I think, pursue as well. Like, we have to make sacrifices, we have to do the work, but we also have to understand, like, that there is no best answer and that all answers are right. And we can always be looking for an answer. Like, for example, if you play, like, Call of Duty, this is a really stupid answer, but just to appeal specifically to gamers, and you want to make your aim better, you probably start looking at a bunch of videos regarding your sensitivity, what you should be doing, and you'll just be locked in this trap of instead of actually taking action and doing things. You have to be okay with doing things regardless of how comfortable you are. If you do or don't want to do them, you just have to do them, and there's no right answer for doing that. Like, your sensitivity, you looking up a bunch of stuff about what the right answer may be isn't the right answer. You have to do the work. And the same thing with keyboard and playing piano. And I feel like it's crazy because now that he said it, I almost feel like YouTube revolves around this pattern to a T. Like, everyone, like, whether they're successful or whatever, I'm not bashing on anyone, but like, their target audience are people who are that concerned with doing the right thing. And to me, that's absolutely bonkers. Like, no video is going to make you a great pianist. No video is going to make you super great at the game. You just have to do the work. You might get some little ideas here and there, but it's not an end all fix. You just have to do the work. And what happens there is more. I don't know if I'd say it's more. I feel like there's a lot of internal stuff going on. Like, I feel like the whole idea of Puer Aeternus describes me down to a T, to an absolute T. So when I was watching the video and I went halfway through it and everything was clicking in my mind, I was just like, I have to make sure I understand this because something internally feels extremely important right now. And yeah, I just kept watching the video. They asked that question, and boom, everything makes sense. Like, it's not about your dream or your failures, it's just about putting in the work, and it's not about there being a right answer. And for some reason, even being like probably the best answer, most simply put, it is the hardest thing to grasp at the same exact time because you're so concerned with how you do something. And you just have to make sacrifices, and there isn't a right answer. Like, oh my god, it was such a breakthrough moment. I watched this man for 4.5 hours go into all this detailed stuff, and nothing made sense. And I don't even really know how to explain it, but simply watching his video, if it resonates with you, you would probably understand it. And if you didn't, if you understood a little bit, you would understand why he keeps telling you to watch it again, because you can't really explain the eternal feeling of what you're not picking up on. And it's absolutely insane. I'm not trying to sound like cult-like. It's just like the work is the cure and it doesn't fix anything response. Just, it makes so much sense the more you think about how you're structured to do anything. Anyways, I encourage you to watch this video because it goes a lot more in depth than this. It's literally like 2.5 hours long. Some trauma-related stuff is mentioned. Our ability to, I guess, our reasoning skills on why we do or don't do things is mentioned. About like things along the lines of thinking we're not good enough isn't the case. Like, we are good enough to do all these things. We're 1,000% good enough to do all these things. But the problem, like, lies within the beliefs that we have created for ourselves. And I don't know, man, just crazy. It just seems, it probably sounds like I'm insane, but anyone who picks up on this, go watch HealthyGamerGG's video. This is just a thank you for him, because I think that has cleared up a lot of stuff in my brain. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I felt the need to make this, so I'm on break at my job, and I just came out here and made this. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it.